Boston, the city that shaped America. A city rises from the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. States carry the footsteps for revolutionaries, immigrants, inventors, writers, and dreamers. Its harbor was witnessed moment of the rebellion and renewal. Its neighborhoods tell stories of struggles, ambition, and change. This is Boston, a city built on land that was on Mars, mud flat, and shoreline, a place where story is not only preserved in museum and monument, but also found in every district, old building, the voices, generation who call it home. Boston's story is not simply the history of one city, it is the story of American itself. Long before European settlers arrived, the land around Boston belonged to the indigenous people. They lived along the rivers, forest, coastline of the regions, moving with the seasons and depending on natural resources around them. The Charles River, known to the as Queen Beacon, meaning the meandering one, provide food and transportation during warm months. Communities gather near the coast to fish and collect shellfish. During the colder months, they moved island to hunt. The landscape of Boston would eventually be transformed dramatically. Hills would be lowered, marshes would be discovered, and new land would be created from the sea. But the people's cities existed with this was a place shaped by nature and indigenous traditions. The first European settler on the Shawmut Peninsula was William Blackstone. Arriving in 1620s, Blackstone lived alone near and what is now Beacon Hill. He built a simple life surrounded by wilderness. When Puritan settlers arrived nearby in Charlestown, they struggled with a lack of fresh water. Blackstone knew that the Shawmut Peninsula had a valuable natural spring, and he invited the settlers to join him. In 1630, Puritans crossed the water and established a new settlement. On September 30 of the year, the settlement was officially named Boston after the English town of Boston in Lincolnshire. The small colony quickly grew. What began as a religious settlement became the center of the politics, trade, education, culture in New England. Despite this restriction, Boston became a place of learning. Boston Latin School was founded in 1635 and Harvard School opened nearby in 1636, beginning a tradition that would make the region one of the world's great centers of education. During colonial era, Boston became a major port. Ships arrived carrying goods from across the Atlantic, connecting the town to a global economy. The city's located made it a natural center for commerce, merchant trade goods, craftsmen built businesses, and Boston's population expanded. But the prosperity came with the conflict. The relationship between the colonies and Britain grew increasingly tense as British leaders imposed new taxes and regulation in 1770. A confrontation between British soldiers and colonists became known as the Boston Massacre. 5 colonists were killed, and the event became a powerful symbol for those opposing British rule. 3 years later, Boston Harbor became the scene of another famous act of forest. Disguised as indigenous people, members of Sons of Liberty boarded ships and threw hundreds of chests of tea into the harbor. The Boston Tea Party was a direct challenge to the British authority. Britain responded with the harsh measure called closing Boston's port and limiting colonial self-government instead of weakening resistance. These actions united many colonists. The American Revolution soon began. In 1775, British troops marched from Boston crowded toward Concord to seize colonial military supplies. Riots, including Fall River, warned local communities, and fighting broke out at the Lexington, and Concord. The Battle of Bunker's Hill showed the determination of colonial forces. Although the British won the battle, they suffered heavy losses. Eventually, General George Washington and Continental Army surrounded Boston. After the months of pressure, British forces evacuated the city on March 1776. The Revolutionary War damaged Boston's economy and the many residents left during the conflict. But the city would recover and begin a new chapter as a part of an independent nation. The rise of modern city. After the revolution, Boston transformed from colonial town into a major American city. Trade returned. Ships once again filed with harbor. Merchants built fortunate and Boston became one of the nation's most important economic centers. The city expanded physically as well. Land was created by filling marshes and extended to the shoreline. Neighborhoods such as the Back Bay and parts of the downtown were built on land that had once been underwater. Transportation helped fuel Boston's growth. Roads, canals, railway connected to the city to the rest of the New England. But in Anthem, Boston had become a center of manufacturing, finance, and the innovation. The city also became known as intellectual life. Writers, philosophers, scientists, and educators made Boston famous as a place of ideas. Figures such as Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry Wordsworth Longfellow, and the Nathaniel Hawthorne helped create a powerful literary traditions. University and medical institutions strengthened Boston's reputation as an educational and scientific centers. The 19th century brought another transformation. Thousands of immigrants arrived, especially from Ireland. The arrival of Irish Catholics changed Boston cultures and politics. New neighborhoods formed, new traditions had developed, and immigrant communities became an important part of the city's identity as well. At first, many immigrants faced discrimination. Boston older Protestant elite often viewed newcomers with the suspicions. Politician battles emerged between the established families and growing immigrant communities. Over time, however, immigrant groups gained influence. Irish Americans became major leaders in business, politics, and public life. Their impact can still be seen throughout the city today. The Boston also became a center of the abolitionist movement. Activists fought against slavery and supported the movement to end human bondage in the United States. Newspaper, speeches, and organization helped make Boston one of the strongest voices for abolitions before the Civil War. The 20th century brought both cement and hardship. Boston continued to grow, but industrial changes created difficulties. Factories closed, jobs disappeared, and many neighborhoods struggled economically. The city faced major social challenges, including the racial inequalities, housing indiscriminations, and the conflict over school integrations. The fight over school desegregations in the 1970s revealed deep division with the city. Protest violence damaged the Boston national populations and reputation, but they also forced conversation about equality and justice. At the same time, Boston continued to innovate. Its universities, hospitals, research institutions become leaders in science and medicine. The city gradually moved away from an industrial economy and toward one based on education, healthcare, technology, and research. In recent decades, Boston has experienced a remarkable transformation. New technology companies have grown alongside world-class universities and hospitals. Neighborhoods have been rebuilt, public spaces improved, and historic areas preserved. The completion of the Big Dig changes the face of the city by moving a major highway underground and creating new parks and public areas. Boston has also continued to face challenges, including rising houses cost, debates over preserving its historical character while welcoming future growth. Yet, the city remains one of the America's most influential places. Its state connects the past and present. The Freedom Trail remembers revolution, universities represent discovery, Neighborhoods reflect generation of immigration and cultural change. Boston is a city built through conflict and cooperation, destruction and rebuilding, tradition and change. It began as a small settlement on a peninsula and became a global center of education, medicine, finance, and innovation. Sisturin is not perfect like a, every great city. Boston carries stories of achievement and failure, progress and injustice. But the complexity is what makes Boston important. The city's greatest legacy is not only the event that happened there, it is the people who shaped it, challenged it, and continue to imagine what it could be become. Boston is more than a place on a map. It is a living history of America.